I got my DPT at Texas Tech in Lubbock. And then after that, I began my PhD at the University of Colorado at the medical campus in Aurora. My work there actually focused on recovery after total knee replacement. I studied under Dr. Jennifer Stevens-Lapsley. She does a lot of older adult and total knee arthroplasty work. So I kind of went a totally different direction after that. It wasn't really my desire to stay in that area. I wanted to do more neuro-related work, if you will. So I took a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Utah under Dr. Lee Dibble. I trained there about 2.5 years. My work there focused specifically related to vestibular function, gaze, and postural stability, working a lot with people with central mediated vestibular dysfunction. I was working on a project with people with multiple sclerosis who had dizziness and balance issues, as well as some work in mild traumatic brain injury. And then my foundation funded work, during that time, I got my NIFTY award. I was funded through the foundation. And I ran my project was primarily focused on rehab and recovery after vestibular schwannoma resection, which is a unilateral surgery to remove a tumor on the 8th cranial nerve. And then that work is just kind of carried forward and led into the stuff I'm working on now.
So my name's Dan White. I'm a physical therapist and associate professor here at the University of Delaware. I'm the director of the Delaware Active Lab that is sort of aimed at improving free living activity in people primarily with knee arthritis or osteoarthritis, as well as older adults. Our lab is comprised of PhD students and trainees, a couple postdoctoral fellows, and research coordinator, as well as doctor of physical therapy students. We're funded by a foundation support, as well as the NIH. And yeah, we just completed a clinical trial looking at telehealth physical therapy and its ability to change physical activity in people with knee osteoarthritis. Yeah, we're steaming ahead with more projects, and just came back from a rheumatology conference in San Diego, and yeah, just doing the science.
Is Gammon Earhart. I'm a physical therapist and movement scientist by training. My current role is Associate Dean and Director of Physical Therapy at Washington University in St. Louis within the School of Medicine here. And my job involves administration as well as research. I have a lab that focuses mainly on working with people who have Parkinson's disease and understanding their walking and balance difficulties and developing novel interventions to help improve their movement ability. I also teach the neuroscience content within our Doctor of Physical Therapy program. And the way that I got to this place is sort of a circuitous route. I went to PT school at Arcadia University in Philadelphia. And then I actually came to WashU in St. Louis here for my PhD in movement science. Graduated and moved to Oregon and worked at Oregon Health and Science University as a postdoctoral fellow for a few years. Then came back to WashU for my first and still only faculty position, and have had great opportunities to develop my career here and to have new opportunities for growth without having to leave. I love working here at WashU.
Yeah, so, interestingly, I've received 2 foundation awards in my career. When I first started my PhD, I got the Florence Kendall scholarship. I actually don't know if that's still offered, but it was actually thinking way back, 10 years now. It was a really great, it really helped set me on my way. And I know it in many ways, I just gained a lot of experience from writing that proposal and that early project in my PhD. But then fast forward a few years, and then my bigger award, the NIFTY award that I received in 2018, I think in 2018. has been incredibly important springboard for me. So, that work was something I was really interested in. And I had obviously an outstanding mentor with Dr. Dibble and other mentors on that team, Dr. Schubert. They're all PTs and PT researchers, and something I was interested in and something we were working on in the lab, or work related to that in the lab. But that award really gave me an opportunity to kind of move in my own direction, if you will. So I think a big challenge as an academic is to move out from underneath your mentorship at some point. And it's not that those people weren't incredibly important to me, and still are, and I still work closely with them, but that was my first award where I was kind of moving in a more independent direction. And so that award carried me through the second half of my postdoc, and then actually into where I am now. And it's fit into a lot of the work that's currently going on in my lab here.
Yeah, I think that award, if I'm not mistaken, really funded some of my work as a postdoctoral fellow and a junior faculty member when I was at Boston University. And it was really foundational with helping support my salary and support myself as a trainee at a young phase. That financial support in for scientists, emerging scientists at such a young stage is critical. And now, being a tenured faculty member, I really could look back and see that, there's a lot of melt, if you will, of the scientific community and the workforce through this really tenuous time where you don't have a job yet, but you still have your science and you're trying to find people to support that. So I was really fortunate with being able to get support from the foundation for this. It was a particular project that I was working on, and it was very helpful to move the science forward, move my career forward. Obviously, I'm still here, over a decade later, and I think it was nice to be supported by my people, physical therapists.
So my award from the Foundation for Physical Therapy Research was actually quite a long time ago. I received a Promotion of Doctoral Studies 2 award as a PhD student. So this was in 1999. And what the award did for me was really provide a launch pad, if you will, for my work in studying human locomotion in particular. At the time that I applied for the award, my PhD studies were primarily focused on using animal models to understand control of movement. And I had an opportunity to then spend time in a lab that was focused more on human movement. And so applying for the PODS 2 award allowed me to expand into that direction and start with human studies as a part of my dissertation. And from then on, I've only been engaged in human studies. And so that really helped me to make that transition and that connection to understanding human movement, and has, like I said, been the launch pad for the entire rest of my research since that time back in 1999 and 2000 when I had the PODS 2 award. In terms of the impact that specific award has had on me, obviously it's defined the whole trajectory of my career, which is now focused exclusively on helping people with Parkinson's disease to move better and live better. And that's been incredibly rewarding. And some of the work that we've done has influenced clinical practice. And in particular, I would say the work we've done using dance as a means of therapy for people with Parkinson's. I know that there are now a number of dance classes, particularly tango is what we started out studying, that exist across the country for people with Parkinson's in different geographic regions. And I oftentimes hear from therapists who say, oh yeah, I read some of your work and now I do tango with my patients in the clinic or some sort of dance as part of our therapy. And it's, it's engaging, it's enjoyable, and it actually is helping with their balance and their walking.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how much of a springboard or how important that specifically the NIFTY grant was for me. And I know I've kind of already said this a few times, but it really allowed me to get on a path of independence that I think is oftentimes very difficult to achieve in academia. it's hard. It's hard to get funding. It's hard to then take that funding and leverage it into more funding and leverage it into independence. And so I'm really grateful for that opportunity to have received that award. I know that is takes a lot of fundraising, takes a lot of donation. And so having that opportunity to be in that kind of that opportunity to get that money as a PT and as a PT researcher was just fundamental to where I'm at now and where I plan to go. And then, of course, just the opportunity to use that to also work with my incredible mentors and team. I don't know. I know I'm using a really long-winded answer here, but it has been incredibly important to springboarding my career, and I can't emphasize that enough.
I certainly appreciate the foundation support, and that comes directly from donors. And without your support, we wouldn't be where we are. And the more support you can give, the farther we can get.
I would like to tell donors that their gifts, whatever size, do really make a difference. Some of the grants that are awarded by the foundation support people who have very few other sources to apply to at that stage in their career. And that ability to get practice in grant writing, to get feedback, and to have that springboard to build from is absolutely essential. And I think it does open doors for people that might be close to them otherwise. And so it's particularly important. I think the focus specifically on physical therapy is quite unique. And so supporting that profession and that community is something that you can do really only with a gift to this foundation as opposed to other organizations.
I can't thank them enough. That the ability for them to raise that money is what makes it possible for us to do this. And I will say that to kind of spark them, I was a PT student not like all that long ago, but I was really intrigued by research, and then my ability to pursue my passion and my interest in a big way because of the money that they raised is incredibly important. And so I would spur them to keep doing it. You never know if one of them might be the person who becomes me. So not only are they fundraising for the profession, but you never know. They might be fundraising in a way that directly supports one of them as they kind of pursue a career in research. So thank you. I will just say thank you for all the work that y'all do.
The students are our rock with foundation support, and it's just such a pleasing it's so pleasing to see the enthusiasm and the crazy videos they put together. And I think that is incredibly important, not only for me as a researcher to receive that depends on foundation support and research support, but I think it's also more important just to show the enthusiasm for our profession, and that there is a generation coming behind me and then behind them that's going to continue to solve problems both at the individual patient level and the big societal level. And to see that enthusiasm definitely helps me get out of bed in the morning and do the work that I need to do.
I would love to inspire our student fundraisers, but I'm actually quite inspired by them as well. So being in an academic setting, I see our own students raising money every single year for the foundation. We do a 5K run for research and various other types of activities and challenges. And it's just really neat to see the community building that takes place around that and the sense of accomplishment. And I think the Marquette Challenge in particular is, quite an event, really successful, and has raised quite a lot of money over the years for the foundation. And that ability to give back as a student and to foster growth of knowledge in the profession that you're entering, I think is really a wonderful way to contribute and have fun doing it.